This is J. David Davis with the Emmanuel Exploration Society, welcoming you to another adventure with us. Today, I want to talk to you about the exploration's origin. I get asked many times, when did I get interested in this stuff, whatever the stuff is? And that's not so easily answered because we go through different phases in our lives. And in these different phases, we have different things we are pursuing. And I've always had an inquisitive mind, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but I've had that inquisitive mind. So in 1991, I wrote this story because I had been asked many times by people, where did you start studying in depth and you started leaving the traditional model of things. So this was in 1991. Now, to give you a little background, I graduated from Tennessee Temple University. In those days, it was called Tennessee Temple Schools, in August of 1972. And I moved to Athens, Tennessee in November 1972. I was from a fundamental Baptist background. The brand was Independent Baptist. One evening, a friend of mine from the church that I went to in Chattanooga, the Lupton Drive Baptist Church, a friend of mine, Andy G., came up to Athens and worked with me in the church here. And Andy and I would have some really great conversations. I thought they were great anyway at the time. And this was in the winter of 1973, 1974. Now remember, I graduated from college, Christian college. I had 2 degrees, a graduate of theology and a Bachelor of Bible. Andy had attended the University of Chattanooga, Tennessee Temple University. He would later go to Southern Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky, and he held degrees in theology and psychology. Our relationship would change through the years, as many relationships do, and he moved to Atlanta, and surely the world would be a better place for the work that we were doing, so we thought. Little did I know that the conversation of that evening would impact my life to such a degree that I would never be the same. We sat discussing what we knew of the people in the New Testament. That began to bring our attention to what did we really know. And I asked Andy, and I said, Andy, what do you know about Jesus? And of course, he started rattling off all the stuff that we knew, because this is what we were taught in church and what we learned in school. But then I stopped Andy and I said, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I said, what do you know about him? And he started up again. I said, Andy, wait just a minute. What do you know about the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the synagogue, the activities that were prevalent in Jerusalem and Israel at the time of Jesus? Now, we had a working knowledge of what we thought we knew about the origin of the Pharisees, Sadducees, synagogue, and all, but it was really incomplete. So we were really smart guys. I mean, combined, we had hundreds of hours of college. We were educated, we had degrees, but our degrees didn't provide those answers. That night, my incredible journey began. Little did I know where it would lead, certainly not to where we are today. As I began to search for this figure, the historical Jesus, a couple from Fort Lauderdale came to our group at the Emmanuel Baptist Church at the time, and they were from a Messianic Jewish Christian group in Fort Lauderdale. So I thought, man, here it is. God's sending me an answer. He's sending me some people that are going to tell me what I need to know. And I went to Fort Lauderdale with them, with my daughter Lori, and we made the trip, and for the purpose of meeting their pastor in their Messianic church. So the pastor, and I don't mind calling his name, Ray Cohen, was a born-again Messianic Southern Baptist Jew. And rather than answering any of my questions, he tried for 2 days to convince me of how anti-Semitic I was. I was really confused at that time. As time goes by, I continued my quest, and I was preaching a revival in Channelview, Texas. That's right out of Houston. And I asked the pastor if there was a Jewish bookstore, and he said yes. And I went to the Jewish bookstore, and at that Jewish bookstore, I got a book called the Mishnah. And it was a book of the oral law. I'd heard a lot about the oral law from my days at school, but I never knew that there was a book written on the oral law. And this was in the late 70s, and my journey began right there. And so in the next video, we will pick up where we left off in Channelview, Texas, and the exploration continues.